This year, the Supreme Court kicked off Pride Month by refusing to overturn a ruling in favor of a Colorado baker who refused to make a cake for a same-sex wedding. And now the Supremes are marking the end of Pride Month with another decision, putting the weight of the Constitution behind institutional discrimination based on sexual orientation. The court announced this week it will not hear the case of a death row inmate from South Dakota who argues he was sentenced to death because jurors thought that as a gay man, which he is, he would enjoy life in prison with other men too much. Seriously. In 1993, Charles Rines, that's the guy who was convicted of stabbing a former co-worker to death. And while he doesn't deny committing the crime, his lawyers argue he should have been sentenced to life in prison instead. NBC News reports that during trial deliberations, jurors sent a note to the judge asking whether a life sentence would allow Rines to mix with the general inmate population, brag about his crime to young inmates, or have a cellmate. And according to The Intercept, jurors also told Rines' lawyers that when they were deciding the case, there was lots of discussion of homosexuality in the jury room. There was a lot of disgust. This is a farming community, the jurors said. And if the bigotry wasn't clear enough from those statements, Slate reports a juror told defense lawyers, quote, if he's gay, we'd be sending him where he wants to go. That sounds pretty clear-cut to me. Historically, jury deliberations have been off limits at the Supreme Court, but last year the justices made an exception for cases where there is racial bias. And now Rines' lawyers argue they should make an exception for discrimination based on sexual orientation, too. And they're right. In the court's decision in the same-sex wedding cake case, Justice Anthony Kennedy tried to hedge the decision, writing, our society has come to the recognition that gay persons and gay couples cannot be treated as social outcasts or as inferior in dignity and worth. For that reason, the laws and the Constitution can, and in some instances must, protect them in the exercise of their civil rights. Justice Kennedy, this is one of those instances. Listen, no one is arguing this killer should get lenient treatment. He committed a horrible crime, and even his lawyers think he should get life behind bars. But if Rines' arguments are sound, and they surely appear to be, the state of South Dakota is going to kill a man because he is gay. And the highest court in the nation does not seem to care. Happy Pride Month.